Hey guys, Mr. Happy here and welcome to Final Fantasy Bestiary. This series is dedicated towards discovering the history and lore behind Final Fantasy's most iconic creatures and characters. This video, we will talk about Final Fantasy's most popular character, debatably, Cid. While some might dispute that he's not the most popular character, Cid is one of Final Fantasy's trademark characters. He has been one of the most common recurring characters, even amongst the mascots and other recurring characters of the series. Unlike Gilgamesh, another popular recurring character, it is a different Cid in every game, though they tend to be similar in many aspects. Despite his name being Spanish for the word Lord, he is often an aged engineer and is commonly related to airships in the game. Regardless of his role, it's pretty much a staple that whenever you pick up a new Final Fantasy game for the first time, you'll be waiting for Cid to pop up. He's so popular that, due to Final Fantasy using Biggs and Wedge from the Star Wars series in their games, he was actually given a character in Episode 1 of Star Wars The Phantom Menace. It's pretty crazy, I didn't know that before making this video. Well, moving on, I'd love to share the entire backstory of every Cid in existence, but this video is going to present you with a more high-level overview of the roles he played in each game, since there are just so many of them. Now, despite all that praise about how often he appears in the games I just gave you, he actually wasn't present in the original version of Final Fantasy 1. He was only mentioned in the remakes as a Lufenian and the original creator of the airship that the characters end up using. His first actual appearance came in Final Fantasy II. Cid starts the game as the owner of an airship taxi after leaving Finn to pursue his own desires. Cid and his airship play important plot devices later, as the airship is taken with Princess Hilda, requiring the player's attention, and when Cid dies, he gifts the airship to you. He also appears in the remakes in a city that hosts several characters who are already dead. Final Fantasy III would see the first time that Cid can join the party, although he is not controllable and it is only temporary. Outside of that, he is an airship creator who assists the party and eventually saves the Warriors of Light from Xande. Final Fantasy IV finally sees Cid join the party and become playable. In the early part of the game, Cid is revealed to be an engineer for the Kingdom of Baron and a friend of Cecil and Rosa. The actions of the king cause Cid to eventually commit treason and be imprisoned. He joins the party after he is freed. He also appears in both sequels, though in Interlude he is only temporary. In fact, he doesn't become playable again until Final Fantasy VII. In Final Fantasy V, Cid is an engineer from the town of Karnak who, along with his grandson, developed an airship powered by the fire crystal for their queen. He also later remodels a ship for the players to use. Now in Final Fantasy VI, Cid's full name is the ever so easy to pronounce, and excuse me if I don't pronounce it correctly, Cid del Norte Marquez. He is also the inventor of Magitech technology, one of the most memorable things in the Final Fantasy series. It can be used for all kinds of projects and technology, and uses the power of the Espers. He is also the character who raises Celis in the game. After the world's end, Cid is sick while taking care of Celis. He can be saved if the fish the player finds is good enough, but it is also possible for him to die here. The scene that follows, if he dies, is one of the saddest scenes of the Final Fantasy series. I don't even want to talk about it. So next is Final Fantasy VII, the jump into 3 dimensions. Cid Highwind becomes a playable character again, and is also a part of the plot. Once again an engineer, he is responsible for the Tiny Bronco, an airship early in the game, and a ship named after him that the group will actually use, the Highwind. His ultimate dream is to go to space, though due to some complications he is unable to achieve this goal and Shinra shuts down the space program they were funding for Cid. Moving on to Final Fantasy VIII, Cid is non-playable again, but he does play a major role in the story as the headmaster of Balamb Garden. He is married to a sorceress named Edea, who becomes possessed by Ultimecia, the game's main antagonist. Cid's goal for Seed, the special force of the Garden, is to defeat her. The Garden is also revealed to be able to fly and traverse through shallow water, technically hovering over the ground and not really flying, making Cid once again responsible for providing the players with some form of an airship. Eventually the player can get the Ragnarok, which is unrelated to Cid, but still, this thing comes in handy. Now in Final Fantasy IX, Cid is the ruler of Lindblum alongside his wife Hilda. Unfortunately, she gets angry at him and turns him into an Oglop, which is like a pest in the world of Final Fantasy IX. He is also turned into a frog at some point when they actually try to cure his spell, but ultimately, his wife changes him back after they patch things up. He is playable during a short and, in my opinion, annoying minigame of basically red light, green light that is required to progress through the story. He is also the Tetramaster champion of Treno. In Final Fantasy X and X-2, Cid is the leader of the Al Bhed, a group of people who make use of advanced machinery, or machina, as tools of war and convenience. He is also Riku's father and Yuna's uncle. He aids the party by allowing them to use his airship, the Fahrenheit, which Tidus had helped excavate early in the game. In X-2, Cid does make a couple of small appearances as well, but nothing major like in Final Fantasy X. Now, Final Fantasy XI's version of Cid, and every time we get to the Final Fantasy XI part of these videos, you guys know I usually take a pretty long time explaining it. But Final Fantasy XI's version just plays a role in a number of quests and main story missions, but it's nothing we really have to get too deep into. Simply put, he is an engineer for the nation of Bastok, and the driving force behind the nation's success. He sends the player off on several tasks as part of his research, and can even make a rare polymer known as a CCB polymer to help players combat a very difficult story mission against Omega and Ultima weapon. Final Fantasy XII Cid, Dr. Cidolfus Bonanza, marks the first time a Cid character is actually an antagonist in the series. He is the head researcher for the Arcadia Empire and is, again, responsible for most of the airships and is fascinated by something called Nethicite, a powerful source of magical energy in the Ivalice universe. He even goes as far as to attempt to use Nethicite to become a godlike being and potentially overthrow the Arcadian Emperor. He does battle with the party twice, with the second time resulting in his death. Now for Final Fantasy XIII, Cid Reigns takes on a much younger look than his predecessors. Not only that, but his role of an engineer is instead replaced as a military head. However, he still does retain his affiliation with airships by being the head of the Lindblum airship, no doubt also a reference to his Final Fantasy IX counterpart. He also helps Lightning and the group on various occasions, but ultimately tries to kill them to protect Cocoon. He dies here, but is later revived. However, he wishes to kind of remain dead, and commands one of his subordinates to execute him when he is found after being revived. He also briefly appears in Lightning Returns representing the souls of the dead, revealing to Lightning the ultimate truths about her mission. And finally, we come to Final Fantasy XIV, where Cid Garland once again takes on the role of an airship engineer. More specifically, he is a Garlean who broke off from the Empire in an attempt to ally with Eorzea in hopes of protecting it. He helps engineer Magitech weaponry, including the Magitech mount, as well as his own personal airship and others. He plays a few important roles in the plot, especially regarding his previous relationship with Nero Tolskeva of the Garlean Empire, and is also a driving force behind the Crystal Tower storyline, helping open it up and investigate the Allegan technology inside. Now I'm going to do what I usually do and just stop with the numbered series, because the number of Cids still left to talk about is pretty staggering. On top of his cameos in other games, it's just too much. I already know that and at this point, if Final Fantasy 15 ever comes out, I'll be on the lookout for the next Cid of the series. Hopefully you guys will be too. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Check out the rest of my Bestiary series. There's a ton of other videos with some background on your favorite Final Fantasy characters. But anyway, guys, until next time, take care.